Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya. I'm a holistic health coach and I make weekly videos on holistic health and nutrition. If you're into that, then definitely make sure to subscribe and like this video. This video is a full 3-day gut reset which comes with a free PDF download which includes everything you need to know for the reset, including a gut health guide, some gut-friendly recipes, the 3-day meal plan, and a grocery list. I recommend grabbing that PDF so you have all the information on hand, but I also recommend watching this entire video because not only will you see me doing the full 3 days in action, but it will be loaded with tips and tricks which will help you complete the reset easily. So let's go over what is included in the reset. The 3-day gut reset includes a daily goals. These are things aside from the foods that you'll be eating that you can do on a daily basis to support your gut health. Now, day to day, I recommend doing as many of these as possible, but for the sake of this 3-day reset, I recommend trying to do all of them. There is a full page with them in the free PDF with a little check mark box right beside them. So you can print that off, put it on your fridge, and every time you complete a goal, you can tick the box. Next up, you have the meal plan for the full 3 days. I asked you guys on Instagram what you would prefer between having the exact same meals each day or new meals every day. About a third of you said the same, and then 2/3 of you said new meals each day. So I kind of went in between, and what I decided to do is keep the breakfast the same for all 3 days, and then the lunches and dinners will change each day. Now, I also understand that not everyone is going to enjoy the same breakfast, and I would never recommend you do something or eat something that you truly do not enjoy. So what I decided to do is include 3 different breakfast options, so you can choose which one you prefer the most. So you'll choose your breakfast and then follow the meal plan for lunch and dinner. You will also be starting each day with some warm lemon water and ending it with some digestive tea, something like a peppermint tea, for example, and that'll go with your dessert. Each lunch and dinner also contains a cup of bone broth. Now, bone broth is an absolute gut health superfood, and I highly recommend you incorporate it in your daily healthy lifestyle. If you are interested in learning more about bone broth, I have actually done a full video on it, so I will link that in the description box and right over here. Okay, this is probably the best tip I'm going to give you this entire video, and that is plan, plan, plan. Things like bone broth do need to be prepared in advance, and the more you prep in advance, the easier the reset will be, which means the better your chances are of completing it successfully. To help you prepare, I have included a full grocery list for the lunch, dinners, and desserts, and everything else you need. That being said, I don't know which breakfast you are going to choose, so I left that out. But all you have to do is copy paste the ingredients from your breakfast recipe into the grocery list and you're good to go. Keep in mind that some of the breakfast recipes are only for 1 serving and some are for 3 servings. So if you choose a breakfast recipe like the breakfast hash, for example, that's only 1 serving, all you have to do is triple the ingredients. Okay, I believe that's it. The rest of this video will be the full 3 days in action. And again, I highly recommend you watch this entire video because it's going to contain a bunch of awesome tips. Good morning, everyone. Today is day 1 of the 3-day gut reset. I'm really excited to be doing this right now. I just prepared my warm lemon water. So each day we will be starting with some warm lemon water. So all I do is I start with 1 cup, so 250 mils of cold water. I add in the juice of half a lemon, and then I add in boiled water, and that kind of gives me the perfect warm water. So you don't want it too hot, but also you do want it to be at least room temperature or warm. And of course, don't forget your straw to protect your teeth. So today I'm going to walk you through all the meals and everything that is kind of recommended in the 3-day gut reset. And I'm going to give you guys a ton of tips and tricks. So yes, there is a handout. There is a free PDF handout for this entire reset, but I highly recommend watching the entire video here because I'm going to give you so many tips and tricks along the way that that will help you throughout the reset. Whether it's just like planning ahead or just little things you can do for your gut, it's gonna be really helpful. So as I mentioned in the intro, you can choose between 3 different breakfasts, and then the lunch and dinners will be different every week. For the purpose of this video, I will also do a different breakfast each day so you can see all 3 breakfasts. So today I'm going to be doing the chia pudding. Okay, so this recipe is a chia pudding with some berries and some almond butter. So even though I'm just having the chia pudding once this week, I did go ahead and make 3 servings, which is what is included in the plan. So I'm just gonna like portion out 1/3 of that and then keep that for later. You can also freeze chia pudding in case you ever have leftovers. And then I'm adding some berries. I love adding frozen berries, and then I just put them in the microwave for a little bit so that they're just juicier than if you just get fresh berries. Plus they're cheaper, so this is one of my little hacks. And then I add some almond butter for some healthy fats, the creaminess, and a little bit of protein. Costco is my favorite place to get almond butter. It is by far the cheapest, and I really like the consistency as well. So that is going to be my breakfast. I forgot to mention sweeteners. So I personally like this just like that. I find the coconut milk and the berries sweeten it enough for me, but you could also add some like maple syrup or a monk fruit sweetener. I will touch on sugar later on in this video and why it is important to try to keep this reset as low sugar as possible. But again, if you need to add a little bit of maple syrup in your chia pudding to enjoy it or something else, go ahead and do it. I am currently prepping lunch now. So I have some chicken in the oven. We're making the chicken salad, and then I have prepared the vegetables that go in the chicken salad. In there's cucumber, celery, red onions, and then I have some mayo, Dijon, which is kind of like the creaminess that's going into it, and salt and pepper. Now, while I'm waiting for the chicken to cook, I'm gonna take advantage and prep more stuff. I've already gone ahead and chopped the other half of the red onion, so I'll be using that later this week. And same for the celery. I knew that I needed celery later in the week, so that's already done. And now there's a few more things that I want to go over with you guys. All right, as I mentioned earlier, the more you can prep ahead of time, the better it's going to be for the 3 days. Now, I do work from home, so I'm okay with prepping my lunches and dinners. But again, if you're on the go, you could pretty much go ahead and meal prep. Just grabbing my laptop because I have all the recipes here. You can pretty much go ahead and meal prep almost all the recipes. So it's just a grab and go every time it's time for a meal. The fact that I'm also filming these 3 days, I kind of want to be making the meals with you guys, but you can totally go ahead and meal prep everything ahead of time. Now, there are a few things that I am going to prep ahead of time. I just showed you the red onions and the celery. Little things like that will just save me a little bit of time throughout the week, which we can all use. So if I just go through the meals right now, the chicken salad, super easy to meal prep. For dinner tonight, I'm having a baked salmon with sweet potatoes and zucchini. Roasting sweet potatoes take a little bit of time, so you can totally go ahead and do that ahead of time. Same for the zucchini. Salmon fillet is only really 12 to 15 minutes, and I do prefer it fresh. So if you really need to, you can prep it, but I do recommend doing that fresh just because it tastes better. Dessert for these 3 days is going to be chocolate almond butter fat bombs, and I'm actually going to be prepping that in a second just to have them for the 3 days. Day 2, you got a spicy salmon salad with some veggies in there. You could chop all of that up in advance, and then I would just recommend adding the salmon and like the avocado oil mayo when you're ready to eat it. The dinner for day 2 is a bolognese stuffed sweet potato. Oh, that is so good, by the way. But again, this bolognese, you can prep that ahead of time, and then the sweet potato needs to be baked. That takes probably like the longest out of this entire meal plan, but it's just 45 minutes in the oven, so you can easily prep that ahead of time again. Day 3, we got some tuna nori wraps. You wouldn't want to like put it in the nori wrap right away, but there are still vegetables again that you could prepare ahead of time there. And for dinner, we got some herb and lemon roasted chicken. Again, another delicious recipe, but something that you can do ahead of time. And then for the vegetables there, we got some cauliflower mash, one of my favorites, and some asparagus. And I actually have those two right here with me right now because I am going to prep that right away. Cauliflower mash, I absolutely love it, but I don't make it often because there's a few steps to it. First, you need your fresh cauliflower. You want to wash it, chop it, you want to steam it, and then you add it in the food processor to like make it a smooth consistency. You could also just like mash it on your own. That totally works as well. I just like just tossing it in the food processor. But what I'm going to do right away is wash and chop that right away. So when I'm ready to make it on day 3, I'll just have to steam it and add it in the food processor. And the asparagus, same. I'm gonna wash it and chop it, and then all I'll have to do is bake that. So there's little things you can do along the way. It totally depends on your schedule. For me, again, I work from home, so I have a little bit more time to do this. Plus, I want to film it for you guys as I go on. So I'm not prepping a ton of things ahead of time. All right, we have the cauliflower and the asparagus all ready. So I'm gonna put that in the fridge and move on to making the fat bombs. Okay, lunch is ready, so I'm gonna have that. Now, you might have noticed in the PDF, or as I mentioned in the intro, you drink 1 cup of bone broth with every lunch and dinner. Now, there are a few ways to prepare bone broth. I've listed all like the options in the PDF. I really like making it in the slow cooker. It's like the easiest way. Although if you have a pressure cooker, then that's technically faster. But I only did it yesterday, and honestly, I recommend one, like you let it cook for 12 to 24 hours, and then you have to let it rest in the fridge for a bit because the fat will separate from it, and mine isn't quite set. Let me show you what I mean. This is my bone broth, and as you can see, the fat is separating, but it's still like pretty soft. So I'm gonna let that harden and instead show you one of my alternatives. So if there's no way for you to make a bone broth at all, there are a few products out there that are solid. Kettle and Fire is one of them. I get this product off a Natura Market in Canada. I'll leave a link for that down below, and if you are in the States, I will also leave a link down below. I probably would just get it off Amazon, or you can get it at any health food stores. But this is a beef bone broth, and it is 100% grass-fed bones, which is what you want. All right, dinner time. For dinner, we're having some salmon, sweet potatoes, and zucchini. The way I suggest doing it, and like the easiest, is just start with your sweet potatoes. I chop them up, and then I bake them for, I think it's 20 minutes. Don't worry, like all the details are in the PDF. Bake that, and then I pushed it over, and then I added the zucchini. And while all this was prepping, I also marinated the salmon. Can we just take a moment and appreciate the color of this? There is such a big difference between like a farmed or a wild salmon. This is wild sockeye salmon. I'm really trying to focus on high quality for this reset. If you have access to like pasture raised chicken, grass-fed beef, wild salmon, highly recommend doing it. If not, that's totally fine as well. But yeah, I went with wild salmon for this dish. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and add it to this pan. Yeah, so that just makes it super easy, and we're just gonna toss it back in the oven until the salmon is done. All right, that looks pretty good. Sweet potatoes, yep, they're done. Salmon looks pretty perfect. The zucchini is like definitely like a thick zucchini, so it's definitely a bit underdone, but I think I'll just eat it that way anyways. still gonna be delicious, just not as soft. By the way, if you're wondering why I have like 2 pieces of salmon, a lot of sweet potatoes, it is because I'm cooking for 2. So throughout the next 3 days, sometimes I'll be making a single meal, sometimes it'll be double. It just depends on if I'm cooking just for myself or for 2. But don't worry, in the PDF, all of the ingredients and directions are for a single serving. So if you're doing that with your partner or someone else, definitely double everything. But if not, you're good to go. Hey guys, so I'm just hanging out on the couch about to have my dessert and peppermint tea, but I just wanted to chat with you about something first. As you will see in the daily goals, it talks about having 3 square meals a day. And the reason behind that is to just give your digestive system a little bit of a break. There's nothing wrong with snacking, but when we're constantly eating, sometimes our digestive system can kind of get backed up. It just doesn't have time to process all the food that we're giving it. So for the purpose of this reset, I recommend just doing 3 square meals. Eat as much as you need until you feel full. And then especially with like the meals that are in this reset, they contain balanced macronutrients, so you should be full for at least 4 to 5 hours until your next meal. But I'm not crazy. Dessert is something that I pretty much enjoy on a daily basis. I love to have a little something sweet after a savory meal, so that's why I incorporated the fat bombs that you would have seen me make earlier. So these little guys, you saw how easy it was for me to make these. It's just 1 part almond butter, 1 part cocoa and 1 part coconut oil, and then you warm it up and you freeze it, and they're really, really tasty. So I'm gonna have one of these along with my peppermint tea. I'm just doing like a tea bag. I should really get some like loose leaves though, and this is by Traditional Medicinal, I think that's what they're called. And I added a tiny bit of honey. I'm not a big tea drinker, so I like to have like, I think I add like, I don't know, around half a teaspoon, and that's how I like my tea. Peppermint tea is great, but if you have a favorite, like a digestive tea, then that is a great option as well. Good morning, we are on to day 2 of the reset, and I am feeling really good this morning after yesterday. I had my warm lemon water this morning, and now I just rolled out my yoga mat right behind me here, and I'm gonna get some movement in. Getting movement in is part of the daily goals. It is good for your gut, it is good for your mental health, it is good for your physical health, it is just good for you. But please don't feel like you have to go crazy on the workouts. If you are new to working out, just start small and then build on that. Even for me, I've been working out for a really, really long time, but from day to day, my workouts will change depending on how I feel. So definitely listen to your body. So today I'm going to be doing my usual mobility like warm-up routine prior to my workout, and I'm actually going to film that, because if you don't know what to do in the morning and you just want to get a little bit of movement in, then that's actually perfect. It's just going to get your body moving, get the blood flowing, and kind of give you like a gentle stretch. So let's hop into that right now.
love me cause I'm poppin'. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's driving. Tyson with the fade, not the hair, my hands rockin'. When I link with ballpoint, you know it's knockin'. I'm not the same, thinking money made me change, nothing else.
Alright, it's time for breakfast, and today I'm making the green collagen smoothie. This is a perfect breakfast if you work out in the morning because it is loaded with protein. So as I assemble the smoothie, I'm just gonna go over the ingredients. First, you need a cup of nut milk. I'm doing cashew milk, but sometimes I also do like almond milk. Those are usually the two easiest to find. Coconut milk is also a good option. And then for a little bit of sweetness, I add a banana. I always keep my bananas in the freezer. I split them up into like halves and freeze them so then they make the smoothie like thick and cold. Just add that in there. Lots of greens. You honestly cannot taste the greens, so you might as well sneak in some greens. I just add like a really large, like-ish handful. And then I think it's really important to have healthy fats in all of your meals. So for this smoothie, I am having about a quarter cup of frozen avocado. I love getting these frozen avocados just in a bag like that because it's super convenient. A little bit. As you can see, I'm not measuring anything. You can kind of just eyeball it. With time, you'll kind of know what like a cup and quarter cup looks like. And then when it comes to the protein, so two options here. I highly recommend doing a bone broth collagen protein. This is going to be by far the best protein for gut health. It doesn't have any dairy, it doesn't have any grains, so it's really free from any ingredients that could potentially be problematic when it comes to gut health. Yeah, I just add 1 scoop of that, and it has a similar benefits as bone broth would. So again, I have the bone broth video that I made linked in the description box, so you can check that out if you want to know more about it, but it is a great product. And then if you don't have bone broth collagen, this is the one by Ancient Nutrition. If you want to get it, I will leave a link in my bio. If you're in Canada, I get it from Natura Market, and if you're in the US, I will also leave a link. I probably just get it from Amazon, or you can hop into your health food store and you'll probably find it there. And if you can't get your hands on this, then a great alternative would just be collagen powder. For collagen, you can also get it from Ancient Nutrition. They have just collagen. I really like the Bend skincare brand because it has a vitamin C in it. Vitamin C is also necessary in the production of collagen, so by having that, you kind of will produce even more collagen from this supplement. So I will leave a link in my bio for that. Or honestly, there are a ton of collagen products out there. Just do your research and make sure that it is a quality product. Alright, it is lunchtime. So day 2 lunch is your spicy salmon salad with some cucumber slices and of course the bone broth. So I have the bone broth already warming up on the stovetop. I took everything that was in the big bowl yesterday, placed them in mason jars, and all I do is I portion out whatever I need, like my cup, when it's time to drink it, and I put it in a pot and just warm it up gently. So for the lunch today, it's gonna be a really quick and easy one. That was kind of my requirements, I guess, for the recipes. Not only do I want them to be gut health friendly and delicious, I want them to be quick to make and have ingredients that are easy to find in pretty much every grocery store and affordable. So this salad is exactly that. I am using canned salmon. Canned salmon is really affordable. I went with a wild pink salmon, from Gold Seal. This is what I'm using. And yeah, let's get assembling. Alright, it is dinner time and we are making a sweet potato stuffed with bolognese. This is one of my favorite recipes. It is so comforting. It almost tastes like it shouldn't be good for you, but it is totally nourishing. It is great for your gut and you're gonna see why in a second. So let me show you what I have going on right now. So this bolognese is honestly super easy. We're just gonna need some ground beef. I went ahead and got some grass-fed beef. As I said, I'm trying to keep everything nice and like high quality for this reset especially. And then we have a ton of vegetables that's going in this bolognese, which is what I really love about this recipe, and the sauce. Quick update, so once the beef was ready, I added in all the vegetables and now they're pretty much ready. So now I just add the sauce. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper and some oregano, and that will be it. All right, it's getting pretty dark in the kitchen, so I figured I'd come over here by the light and show you what the final product looks like. So again, this is a bolognese stuffed sweet potato, and it is so good and nourishing. Tons of veggies and very gut friendly. Good morning, everyone. Today is the third and final day of the reset. I am starting breakfast right now. I'm going to show you guys in a second, but I wanted to come over here where there's a little bit of light because today is just the absolute gloomiest day, and I do shoot with natural light usually, so I apologize in advance. The lighting will change a little bit. It's gonna have a little bit of a like yellow tinge to it, so again, I'm really sorry about that. But anyways, let's get into the video. I'm excited to show you all 3 meals today and share with you some awesome tips. So I'm on to the third breakfast option, which is a breakfast hash. So at the moment I have some pasture-raised bacon cooking here. Once that's done, I'm gonna remove it from the pan and add in the veggies. You can go ahead and do whatever veggies you prefer here. I went with this combo here: mushroom, red peppers, zucchini, and the yellow onions that I chopped earlier. That's my favorite combination for like a breakfast dish, but you can honestly do whatever you'd like. And then I will add 2 eggs to this dish. And I am currently sipping on my warm lemon water, so you can just prepare that and sip on it while you prepare breakfast. All right, finished product here. So all you have to do, as you saw, is just create 2 little wells, crack your eggs in, cover, and voila. I like to cut my bacon in little bite-sized pieces so I can have some in every bite, and yeah, it's a perfect gut-friendly breakfast. For lunch, we are having these tuna and nori wraps. So essentially sushi, but without the rice. We have a few different vegetables here that we're gonna be adding in: some carrots, cucumber, and avocado. And then we have some tuna, canned tuna mixed in with mayo. I used avocado oil mayo. Got our nori sheet here. You can find that at pretty much any grocery store. And then I have some sesame seeds as well to top it with. And I also recommend serving this with some coconut aminos. Coconut aminos is a gluten and soy-free version of soy sauce. So by adding it to the sushi here, you'll get that like soy sauce flavor, but without the gluten and soy. All right, so let me show you how to assemble this. Okay, so I ended up running to the store and getting some tamari. They didn't have any coconut aminos, so I just went with the second best, which is tamari, mainly because I wanted it for picture purposes, because I'm taking pictures of most of the meals that I'm doing today for the reset. But yeah, now I'm gonna give it a try. It honestly looks so good. It looks exactly like sushi. Okay, that was so good. It's kind of like a lighter version of sushi without all the rice. So yeah, really gut friendly here. I've incorporated a lot of fish in this meal plan, and that is because fish not only has complete protein, which means you get all 9 essential amino acids that your body can't synthesize. You need to get it from food. So seafood gives you that, and on top of that, it's really easy to digest. So kind of the whole theme here, we're trying to give your digestive system a break and help it. So yeah, canned tuna, canned salmon, salmon fillet, all that. They are really gut friendly. And I almost forgot some bone broth. Thankfully I didn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and place like a cup in a pot on the stovetop and warm that up. All right, at dinner time. You guys are gonna love this one. If you haven't tried a cauliflower mash before, this is gonna be such a treat. But essentially I have the chicken thighs here marinating in all of the ingredients. It's all in the PDF. And then we got some asparagus. The red onions were not part of this meal, but I chopped them up earlier this week and I just want to use them. And then we got the cauliflower here. So there's water in here and I'm just gonna steam it and then we'll mash it. The oven is ready to go. So I'm gonna add the chicken, asparagus, and then we'll have an awesome dinner. All right, everything is ready. So as you can see, this is the cauliflower mash and the texture is just amazing. I absolutely love it. Highly recommend trying it. And we got some chicken thighs already and then the asparagus. So this dinner is looking really good. I'm gonna plate everything up and show you the final result. All right, here's everything plated. This is such a great gut-friendly meal. We got the asparagus here, which is full of fiber and great for your gut bacteria. Chicken with like the lemon and everything. Again, just an easy to digest protein. And the cauliflower mash is another great vegetable full of fiber. I just want to quickly chat about all the meals that are included in this reset. Most of them are grain and gluten-free, and I'm not saying you always have to eat that way, but for the sake of this reset, I highly recommend just eliminating grains because they can be a little bit more difficult to digest, and I love substituting them with other foods, so usually like starchy or non-starchy carbs, which have a ton of micronutrients and are just so nourishing and good for you. So I'm gonna end this video here because this is gonna be long enough. I really hope this video was so helpful to you. Of course, now go grab the free downloadable PDF. It's linked in the description box, and then get ready to feel amazing. If you did find this video helpful, I would be so grateful if you could like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you know of anyone that could use a good gut reset, then definitely share this video with them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.